Welcome to the High Income Business Writing Podcast, helping you propel your writing business to a whole new level. And now, here's your host, Ed Gandia.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the High Income Business Writing Podcast, the number one podcast for freelance writers, copywriters, and solo marketers who want to earn more in less time doing work they love for better clients. With over 1.3 million downloads from listeners just like you across 101 countries. Over the past few weeks, we've talked about building a small bench of offers, reading the signals in a client conversation. We've talked about matching what you hear to what you have. And today, I want to tackle the part that makes most writers nervous, the actual moment of the pivot in the conversation, because knowing you should redirect a conversation is one thing. Doing it smoothly without the client feeling like you're steering them somewhere for your benefit, that's a totally different skill entirely. And I want to show you what that looks like in practice, both the clunky version and the version that actually works. We've touched on this already a little bit, but I want to do a deeper dive today in this episode. Now, let's start with a scenario. Let's say that a prospect reaches out. They want a 6-part email nurture sequence, 4 weeks, it's a reasonable budget. You get on a call, you've already had some email back and forth, and within 10 minutes of that conversation, it becomes clear they haven't defined their audience yet. They're not sure what actions they want readers to take. And maybe the campaign is tied to a product launch that's already been delayed a couple of times. You can see it. The sequence is going to land flat if you build on that rough foundation. So what are you supposed to do? Do you proceed anyway? Do you just kind of follow their lead and go, well, we'll see how it goes? The version most of the writers default to, especially when they're worried about losing the work, is basically this. The prospect finishes describing the project, there's a pause, and you say something like, that sounds great. I'd love to help you with that. I do want to mention I also offer a content strategy session that might be useful here. It's 2 hours. We'd map out your messaging before diving into the emails. How does that sound? I know that move because I've made it, and it almost always lands the wrong way because you've essentially interrupted the client's vision with a different product. They came in asking for one thing, and now you're offering them something very different. Even if your instinct is right, the delivery feels like an upsell, and nobody likes feeling upsold. So here's what works better. First, mirror what they said. Repeat back what you heard in their own language. Don't give them a summary. Give them actual words and phrases they use. This does two things. First, it confirms you were listening. And second, it gives them a chance to hear their own situation reflected back at them. Something like this. So if I'm hearing you correctly, the launch date is still in flux. You're targeting a pretty broad audience at this point, and the main goal is to move people from cold to ready to buy in about 4 weeks. Does that sound about right? And then you pause. Let them confirm or correct. That's the first thing. The second thing, name what you're observing. Now, do it gently, do it without drama, but you have to call it out. Here's an example. The thing I'm noticing here is that we'd be building the sequence before some of the strategic pieces are locked in. Now, I've seen that create problems down the road, emails that have to be scrapped or rewritten when the positioning shifts. That's it. You're not telling them they're wrong. You're just sharing what you've seen. The difference in how that lands is significant. All right, the third thing, offer a smaller next step. Here's an example. I've found that what's worked well for clients in similar situations is spending a focused session on the strategy first, just a couple of hours. So when we go into production, everything is built on a solid foundation. That usually makes the writing faster and cleaner as well. Or maybe a slight variation of what I just said. So here's an example. What I think might be more effective here in this situation is for you to spend a focused session on the strategy first, just 2 hours. So when we go into production, everything is built on a solid foundation. That usually makes the writing faster and cleaner too. So very similar to the other one, just a kind of a different intro or different first part to it. So that's really what you're looking for. 3 basic moves. You mirror first, you name it, and then you offer a different alternative. No pressure, there's no lecture here, no feeling of being redirected against your will. I want to be straight with you about something. This doesn't always work. Some clients are locked in on what they've asked for. They're not interested in being redirected. Doesn't really matter how graceful you are about it. And that happens. Okay. But when it does, you have a decision to make. You can take the project as scoped and do your best, or you can pass. In my experience, most clients respond fairly well or very well to this approach because what they actually want is someone who gives them honest guidance. They're not experts in content strategy or in AI workflows or whatever you're helping them with. They're coming to you because you're the one. And when you show up that way, it just builds trust faster than any amount of smooth selling ever could. The writers who struggle most with a pivot are usually the ones who think it's fundamentally a sales technique. You're matching what the client actually needs to the help you can actually provide. And done right, it feels like a good service because it really is. Okay, so to recap the 3 moves, number 1, mirror what you heard. Number 2, name what you're seeing. And number 3, offer a better fit next step. Practice that sequence over and over again when you're in these situations. If it feels uncomfortable, force yourself to do it anyway. And I'm telling you, it becomes second nature faster than you're going to expect. All right, so that's it for today. Next week, I'm wrapping up May with a newsletter on how to treat your offers as experiments rather than commitments and what real market feedback actually looks like when you're paying attention. Thanks for being here. I hope you found this helpful. Talk again soon. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And just a quick reminder to grab your free copy of my latest book, Earn More in Less Time: The Proven Mindset, Strategies, and Actions to Prosper as a Freelance Writer. You can get your free copy at b2blauncher.com, where you will also find the detailed show notes to this and all my other episodes. Enjoy and have a great day.